If you enjoy this show, please share, rate, and review. The more listeners, the greater the impact. Dee Helsee is a soul care consultant, cancer survivor, and author of Better Than Band-Aids, an emotional healing journey. She helps her clients to process their pain with God and to find healing through encounters with love. She is married to her high school sweetheart, Brian, with whom she has 3 adult children, and they live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She wants you to know if God can heal her, He can heal you too.
Everybody goes away. Here I am. Look at me, I'm alright. Everybody goes away. In the storm, dancing to the rhythm of the rain.
Welcome home, where healing and restoration are celebrated in stories from those who have walked through fire and come out the other side. Welcome to the Pursuing Redemption podcast with Heather Shore.
Dancing to the rhythm of the rain. Everybody goes away. Here I am. Look at me, I'm alright. Everybody goes away. In the storm, dancing to the rhythm of the rain.
Well, Dee, thank you so much for coming on the Pursuing Redemption podcast. We're super excited to have you today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we'll hop right into it. Tell us about your journey of coming to know Jesus.
Okay, so I grew up in a Catholic family. I went to Catholic grade school, first grade to 10th grade. And I really didn't hear the gospel, the good news, until I was 13. And my family was pretty chaotic. There was a lot of anger in my home. And so my view of God, even though I kind of had that Catholic lens, was very negative. I felt like he was watching me just to count my sins and that I had to earn love. And one of my coping strategies was perfectionism and just performance. So I'm a recovering perfectionist, hi, welcome. Here I am. And, I was basically just a really big hot mess. And so through my teen years, it was like the Lord had me on this journey of just forgiveness. We just started there. And I'm so grateful. The church we went to, the little church, the youth pastor was getting her degree in counseling. And so she started meeting with me weekly and just teaching me how to forgive and how to process my emotions and how to really come to just a better place. And so I thought my childhood was just normal, right? Like fine, like everyone has a normal childhood, but come to realize that it really wasn't fine. There was a lot of trauma and a lot of pain. And so it's, just part of this journey of sanctification and transformation that the Lord's had me on for over 45 years. So here I am.
Here you are.
Here I am. Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time to be on a journey with him for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is.
That's a wonderful journey.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear a little bit about your health journey and how Jesus helped you overcome stage 4 thyroid cancer.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it started in August of 2020. My endocrinologist had been keeping an eye on my thyroid because I had some nodules, not a big deal. I had fine needle biopsy. They were like checking the sides of the nodules. And then all of a sudden on August the 1st of 2020, I found a lump on my collarbone, and my daughter, who's a nurse, said, "Yeah, Mom, you probably should get that checked out." So I checked in with my primary care physician. He scheduled me for a scan and for surgery to have the lymph node removed. He's like, "I'm pretty sure that's a lymph node." So when they remove the lymph node a couple days later, they send it into the lab. The lab reports come back, and it's full of thyroid cancer. And so I was so shocked and just disbelief at first. It's just like, it's hard to believe because I had really no symptoms. So to think that I had thyroid cancer and it was already in my lymph nodes was really surprising. So we met with the doctors and the radiologist and came up with a treatment plan. And when my ENT said, well, the next opportunity I have opening for surgery to do the thyroidectomy is October 1st, I just got to thinking about that. And I was like, Lord, I do not want to have another operation. And I was laying in bed one morning and I remembered a dream I had the year before. And it was so specific. I had titled it The Order of Operations because it was like an algebra
Mm.
equation, which
Mhm.
I dream a lot and I just have a spiral notebook that I keep my dreams in. And so I went back and looked at that, and it was really specific. The year before, I'd had several people just kind of weigh in and give me their opinion. And there was actually 4 scenes, and the very first scene was operate. And the second scene was orchestrate, and then insulate and communicate. So when I started reading that, I just started crying because I realized, okay, this wasn't about last year, about what I originally thought it was about. This is about the cancer. And God has already got a detailed map and plan of how he's going to walk me through this.
Mm.
And the insulate scene is literally like I'm wrapped in a Sherpa blanket, which just means the love of God. And I felt
Mm.
like I got ran over by a semi truck, but there was no pain.
Yeah.
Right. So, anyway, just all that to say, the Lord was just with me and I felt his presence so much and so near. It was a very special time. And I asked him, I'm like, Lord, what is the upgrade for this? What is the gift that you have for me walking through this? And he
Wow.
said, Dee, you're going to learn how to receive love. Because my childhood, I didn't know if I was loved. I didn't feel
Mm.
wanted. I didn't feel loved. And so this was just another step on a journey and just going deeper into the love of God. So he just said, if anyone asks you if they can bring you something or do something for you, the answer is yes. You just receive whatever people bring. So it was just amazing to see all the different people who came because I ended up doing 33 radiation treatments,
Okay.
and people would drive me, take me to lunch, just different things like that. And it, being bolted to a table for 14 minutes for 33 times is a lot to process. And the
Yeah.
Lord was just really with me. I had a friend who's a counselor just help me walk through that so that I would feel safe and taken care of. And I didn't
Sure.
have to have extra medication just to receive the treatment because you're already doing so much. And my biggest prayer going through radiation is that I wouldn't have to have a feeding tube because they only said I couldn't lose more than 6 pounds because your throat gets so sore and swollen it
Mhm.
feels like you're swallowing knives. And so the Lord totally honored that, and I was able to not lose any weight. Even I got COVID at Christmas, right in the
Oh my
middle of
gosh.
radiation, but still it was a gift, Heather, because
Yeah.
I got 10 days off and my throat healed enough in those 10 days that I could start eating meat again. And then I
Mhm.
had just another 18 to go. And and as the Lord had it, I found the lump on August the 1st, then had the first surgery September 1st,
Mhm.
second surgery October 1st, and then I did all the radiation and radioactive iodine. And my last treatment, even with the COVID, was February the 1st, 2021. So it was 6 months
Wow.
to the day. I mean, just all the details. I was like, Lord, you just cannot make this up. It's not coincidence. I couldn't make this happen. So even though I wouldn't ever want to go through that again, I'm so
Mhm.
grateful to the Lord because He held my hand. I got a first class healing through medicine. And I know it doesn't work that way for
Mm.
everyone, but that was what the Lord had for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you meet people along the way that you were like, oh, you were part of the reason that I was supposed to go through this journey? Like doctors and things of that nature. Because I know when my friend went through cancer, like she led so many people to Jesus through her journey, but she had cancer for 15 years. So it was
Yeah.
a really, really
Long
long
time.
journey. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, my doctors, the ENT who did my surgery was excellent. He was
Hmm.
amazing. And I don't think knew the Lord, but at the end I told him about the dream afterwards and I just said, God handpicked you to be my surgeon. He was just
Mm.
amazing. And he said, well, he said, I'll take all the help I can get. So I know there were seeds planted along the way.
Yeah.
And honestly, since then, I feel like I've been able to share my story with other people who've gone through cancer, some thyroid, other
Hmm.
people, a different cancer story that's
Sure.
just been encouraging. And you might check this or have you looked at this? Because when you've been there, you know what will bless them and what will help
Yeah.
them. Where before like someone has cancer, like I don't know what they need, or what I can do for them.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think just even the compassion and encouragement I received was able and still am able to pass that along to other people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your journey around inner healing prayer and how that works, because I'm sure that came into play through this whole thing. Can you tell us, what it is, like how to practice it and how Jesus really uses it to touch lives?
Okay.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What does it mean to live a life of faith? What does it mean to live as a Catholic Christian? Hi, this is Bishop Kevin Sweeney, host of the podcast Beyond the Beacon. Join me as we unravel and discuss the mysteries of our faith, of the church, of living as Catholic Christians. Be inspired by engaging interviews with priests and seminarians, deacons, religious, women and men who live the life of faith day by day here in our Diocese of Patterson, in food pantries and classrooms and parishes and ministry. How is God working in their lives today? How is God working in our lives? Join me as I ask them and be part of the conversation on Beyond the Beacon. Listen and follow Beyond the Beacon wherever you get your podcasts or watch it on my YouTube channel. Please check the show notes for more details. Thank you and God bless you.
Sure. And really, it started back there in my teen years with forgiving and learning how to forgive, which is just essential. But I didn't know anything about triggers and self-awareness, didn't even know what that was about. But just like in 2009, started on this journey of just figuring out what that was all about and realized that I just had a lot of lies. Even though I had forgiven a lot of
Hmm.
things from my childhood, I was believing so many lies about myself. Like
Yeah.
I'm not good enough, that I'm not needed and I'm not wanted. And so kind of the process really is getting to the root of what's causing the fear or the shame. And
Hmm.
most of the time it comes from lie-based thinking, where we're
Hmm.
believing something about ourselves, and it's not even about the circumstances that are going on right in the moment. It's about what we believed about ourselves in those childhood years. So, like one example from one of my earliest prayer times with my mentor was just, I was really angry. So, a trigger is
Sure.
when you're fine and then all of a sudden you are so not fine. You're angry, you're upset, and it's
Yeah.
disproportionate. And you're even like, logically thinking, okay, I should not be this upset about it. And in my family, we didn't talk about emotions. You just keep
Hmm.
everything shut down and you just stayed busy and you just powered through and just strived. We don't talk about emotions. And I've just come to see that that is so unhealthy because emotions are a gift from God. They're
They
part of
are.
the feedback.
Yeah.
They're how we feel His love and connect with other people. So,
Hmm.
all that to say, this first trigger, I was like, okay, Lord, we're just going to tackle it together. You and me. I'm really angry. So I'm journaling it out and I get to the lie. And the lie was that God doesn't pursue me. And so I'm like, okay, Lord,
Oh,
I want to exchange
that's
this
good.
truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to exchange this with you. I'm ready for the truth that sets me free, right?
Hmm.
And it was just crickets. Nothing. I heard nothing. I'm like, okay, well, let me call my mentor and see. So we set up a time to meet. And through that, I realized that it was, I didn't believe that God pursued me. I didn't believe that
Hmm.
my dad pursued me. And I didn't believe that my husband pursued me. So, like
Hmm.
in that hour session, the Lord just like downloaded so much truth, just showing me about my dad and showing me about my husband and showing me about him and how he's pursued me my whole entire life. And
Hmm.
I just sobbed. I mean, there was just so much relief and peace that flooded into that wound. And when I got back out to my car, I opened my phone and it said one missed call from my dad. My dad had literally just gotten a cell phone. And it was the first time that he had ever called me from his cell phone to my cell phone. And
Mm-hmm.
I just sobbed, Heather, because I could see that my dad was pursuing me, but I had these blinders on, right? This
Sure.
belief, this lie that said, my dad doesn't pursue me. So even the times when he had, I didn't feel it. I didn't
Mm,
experience it. And I think that would have happened even if I hadn't have prayed, but I wouldn't have experienced the love. I wouldn't have been able to
yeah.
really receive, right? His pursuit and his love. So,
Mm,
and I asked the Lord afterwards, I'm like, okay, God, why couldn't you just have done that just with me and you journaling 3 weeks ago when I was trying to process
sure.
this? And the Lord said, Dee, I'm not willing to put a band aid on something that needs a surgery. And even the best surgeons in the world do not operate on themselves. I want you to be with other people and experience my healing touch with one another. That's what the body of Christ is all about, is
That's really good.
community, right? Having
Mm-hmm.
safe people in our lives that we can process with and grow with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the first times. And since then, there's been hundreds. It's just become part of my routine. And so, kind
Mm-hmm.
of, it just organically developed. And I started practicing with my kids and with my friends. And they would be like, hey, Dee, can you pray with so and so? And can you talk to them just about how you process emotional pain? It's just so much healthier than, coping mechanisms, because there
Yeah.
are all kinds of things that we do to try to cope with emotional pain. And a lot of it is subconscious. So
Sure.
that's why self awareness is so important to know, what am I feeling? What's going on? Where is this coming from?
Hmm. That is so great, Dee. Thank you for explaining that and in a very succinct way. A lot of people don't. And I really appreciate that answer. It was very good. Can you tell us your sort of unique experience of healing and deliverance and how God has worked through that whole process for you?
Yeah, I think it started really small.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, it didn't seem like much was happening or that I was changing or that I was growing. But my family would attest to the fact that I'm not even the same person that I was 20 years ago. And I wrote a book about just my stories and a lot of the triggers that have happened. And my husband wrote the foreword, and my son edited it. So
That's
it's
amazing.
just
What's the
been,
name of your book?
it's called Better Than Band-Aids, from that whole first experience where the Lord said, I'm not putting a band-aid on something that needs a surgery. It's been a
Yeah.
theme, and I've needed a lot of surgeries. But it's been about family and about building relationships, and it's brought so much healing with my parents and my siblings, and even my kids. One of the stories in the book is our girls are just 18 months apart, and
Mm-hmm.
so they were probably, I don't know, 10 and 9 at the time, and happened to sit down and measure each other's feet. They sat foot to foot. And
Yeah.
so the younger one, Martha, her feet were bigger than the older daughter, Hannah. And Hannah just burst into tears. She was so
Oh.
upset. So I just sat on the bed with her and just said, Hannah, what's going on? And she said, I just feel like I'm not special because Martha's feet are better. And I just said,
Oh.
I think that's a lie. And can we ask God about that? And she was like, okay. And I just super simple. Jesus,
Yeah.
is it true that Hannah's not special because her feet are smaller than her younger sisters? And she was like, he said, no. He said, I'm special too. And so I just added that and I said, Hannah, you have the feet for your journey, for where God is taking you. And Martha
Mm.
has the right size feet where God is taking her. And it doesn't matter what size, whose is bigger or smaller, you're special and made by God and equipped for your walk and your journey and just what you need. And she was like, okay, great. Can I go outside and play now? But something that could have really caused a wedge in their relationship and their friendship was totally just abated by the truth. I mean, it was really the
Mm-hmm.
truth that set her free. And we still talk about it. You know, it's part of her journey and part of her story. And there's been so many other like bigger ones, you know what I'm
Sure.
saying? Than
Yeah.
more just the size of the feet. Another one with my other daughter, Martha, she was 16, 15 at the time because she wasn't driving. And she had come home from school, and I was like, okay, Martha, I had the list. I'm like, you need to get your chores done. And we've got extra stuff because we have people coming.
Hmm.
And she was like, hey, can I have a friend stay overnight tonight after youth group? And I was like, no, she's an extrovert. I'm more of an introvert. And I
Hmm.
was just like, I was not about it. And I could tell that she was just so deflated. And so after a little while, I went upstairs and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, you know, Mom, I just feel like you're a killjoy. And I was like, wow. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Right?
Oh my
And so she
gosh.
was telling me about her day and what happened. And Hannah had said, we can't go out to Chick-fil-A after youth group because I need to get home to study. So, like, all these things had happened in her world that day that I didn't know about. And so she was just feeling very shut down. And so I, of course, apologized and said, Martha, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to pile things on you. And so then I said, let's ask the Lord about that. Is that true?
Mhm.
And so, super simple. Jesus, is that true that I'm in Martha's life to kill her joy and to steal her joy? And once again, the Lord is so kind and so faithful. And he's like, no, your mom loves you. She wants the best for you, and she's there for you. So that was really a sweet healing moment for us because I hadn't
Mhm.
ever really viewed it through Martha's eyes and how much those things energize her and how much she loves it. So, like a couple weeks later, I happened to be with one of her friends and invited her friend to spend the night and then surprise Martha. And when I told her, I said, Martha, do you see that? She's like, I get it, Mom. And I'm so grateful.
Oh,
So
that's
just
amazing.
things like that where the Lord just brings healing. And this is the thing is that I'm triggered less now than ever before.
Sure.
And they're not like fetal position, like crying my eyes out. It's more of like, oh gosh, something doesn't feel good here. I'm angry or I'm hurt. Why? What's going on? And so
Mhm.
the Lord has walked me through so many things. And now, Heather, I can pray sometimes on my own. And I have friends that will process with me
Yeah.
and ask me the questions. What am I feeling? What's the Lord saying? And so this is 100% something that you can do with someone you feel safe with and who is a
Sure.
good listener and wants to pray with you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think though to really point out is that people don't realize sometimes how it starts so small, right? Similar to sin. Like a lot of times it starts out so small and we don't even notice it, and then if we don't tackle it, it just grows and it grows into something bigger.
Yeah.
Um, and I love that just example of sitting down with your kids and being like, all right, what's the lie that you believe? I've
Hmm.
had to do that
Yeah.
with my own daughter who's 10.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a lot of, she's just gone through just a, I mean, after walking through a divorce of her parents, there's just a lot of wounding there and she feels neglected. And so we have to sit down on the bed sometimes and be like, why are you so upset? Or is it
Hmm.
hormones? Like,
Hmm.
what's really going on?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's important
Yeah.
to take that time with people.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Hmm.
it is worth the investment. And I think for me, one of my coping strategies was just to blame other people or
Sure.
blame a situation or blame it's because of this or I'm not feeling
Hmm.
100%, whatever. And I've come to realize those are excuses. And
Hmm.
the Lord wants me to come to him. I have
Yeah.
one friend, she knows she's triggered when she's standing in front of the refrigerator and she's not hungry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Oh, no, I
we
understand
all,
that.
it's
Yeah.
right. It comes
Hmm.
in different ways, or we find ourselves shopping or scrolling or are just, zoned out on Netflix or whatever,
Hmm.
trying to self medicate when the Lord is inviting us to come closer. I view triggers now as an
Hmm.
invitation from the Lord because he has freedom waiting for me that he wants me
Hmm.
to bring through processing and just the intimacy and the connection with him
Hmm.
that comes through the whole journey, he wants to bring me healing. He knows everything about my heart. And so he wants to
Mhm.
see me as free as possible, right? It's for freedom that
Sure.
he set us free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What lessons did you learn as you journeyed through just because you've gone through a lot of hardship, right? Your upbringing, all the different things, your cancer journey, and some of the other stories you've told me off camera and stuff like that. But what words of hope would you give to someone just to keep going?
hmm I would say just start where you are,
Mhm.
wherever that is, and invite the Lord in and just ask him, Lord, what would you have me do? And then whatever he shows you, just take the next step. Maybe you need counseling. Maybe there's a friend or a mentor that you could process with, or maybe you
Mhm.
need to take a class or do some discipleship. I don't know. But just being honest with yourself, and just like David did in the Psalms, where he was very emotional and didn't have any problems just writing it all down. Lord,
Mhm.
I'm in fear for my life. I'm rolling and struggling on the bed and I can't sleep and I have so much anxiety. And I love how he went to the Lord to process his emotional pain. And I think the Lord wants to hear that. He wants us to be honest. He doesn't want us to just put on this Christian ease of I've got it all together and everything is fine. He
Mm.
wants to meet us in the pain. And so I would just say start where you are and do the next right thing. Whatever the Lord shows you, reach out. Just take the next step and ask him, what he wants for you.
Hmm. So, if you could tell someone to chase after Jesus and pursue redemption, what would you say?
I would say to start with your own heart. The Lord just have me on this journey of learning to love myself, because the more I love myself, the more I can love others and the more I can receive his love. I mean, it's the whole love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And through this whole journey, I've come to realize that I didn't like myself. In fact, at 13, I pretty much hated myself, hated my mom.
Mm.
Just hate was this wall that I erected in self protection, but it didn't work. It was
Yeah.
not a good coping strategy. And so I feel like the Lord just brick by brick has been taking that down over the years and I'm allowing love to come in so that I can love more and love myself and love and accept other people. Because that's really
Mm.
what he wants. They'll know that we are Christians by our love, right? Our love
Yeah.
for one another, our love for our families, the people that are close to us.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Yeah,
just his love is so good.
it
And
is.
if we can just give it out to other people, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And his love cast away fear, right? Perfect love
Mm.
cast out fear. And so that with my cancer story, I didn't ever fall into fear because I was so convinced of God's love and that
Hmm.
he had a plan and that he knew me. Now I've fallen into fear in plenty of other things, but the cancer stuff, I was like, Lord, you've got this. I am going to be so fine, because you're just with me. So yeah,
That- hey, you know what? That's a better place to be than to be in
it
fear.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, for
it is.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you could, would you be willing to pray over the audience and or just give a word of needing hope to people?
Yeah. Okay. So, Lord, I just pray for the listeners that you would envelop them with your love. I ask you to show them what is the next step in their journey. You are the great physician, and you have a plan for their good. I ask you to reveal by your spirit what they need. What are you highlighting that you want to speak to and bring healing and freedom? I'm asking for the truth that sets them free to be fully who you've created them to be. You know everything about them, all the struggles, all the pain, and you're always ready to bring comfort and wholeness. Thank you for meeting us right where we are and bringing your kingdom. You restore and redeem the years that the locusts have eaten. We love you so much, Lord, and thank you for this time together. Amen.
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 Well, thank you for coming on. This was wonderful.
Thank you, Heather. I really appreciate it.
Everybody goes away.